Hey guys, welcome back to the Trailhead and my tiny house bathroom series. This space is essentially mission control. I start and end every single day right here. In the morning, this is my dressing room, it's hair and makeup, and in the evening, it's where I relax, I start to wind down, I get ready for bed, and I prep for the next day. Keep in mind that I only have about 6 feet by 2 or 3 feet to move around in here. So it is crucial that everything in here has a home, and I have a system in place that makes this whole area easy to organize and maintain. When I moved into my tiny house, I knew that I had to make this space my priority. So I started looking for organizing videos and I found the Clutterbug channel. She has a ton of great tips, but also she has a Clutterbug quiz on her website. And you just answer a few questions and she tells you what type of organizer you are. There's 4 types. And then she also tells you which organizational systems work best for you. This is exactly what I needed. At the end of my quiz, I found out that I am a ladybug. The reason she calls it that is because if you've ever seen a ladybug in real life, it has this beautiful exterior shiny shell. But then when it opens up, there's like these wings crammed in there and it's a hot ladybug mess. What can I say? I immediately identified with the ladybug. If I have people coming for dinner, I am going on a mission to clear my countertops and create a space that is visually clutter-free. But all I'm really doing is creating the illusion of a clean house because I am willy-nilly cramming things into any drawer or cabinet. Because of this, I am always searching for something that I haphazardly threw in the wrong place when I was stress cleaning. Maybe you can relate to this because she says most people who take this quiz fall into the ladybug category. And according to the Clutterbug, we ladybugs need super simple organizational systems. I'm not a filer, I'm a piler. If I have to put things into containers with lids and stack them up alphabetically in a system in a file, I may as well just shove it into a drawer because that is not happening. As it turns out, we ladybugs need bins and baskets with no lids. We need systems that are easy to access and clearly labeled. And as I was reading that description, I just felt this relief come over me. I'm not a slob. I just need an easy system to work with. As soon as she said bins and baskets and labels were my solution, I began to see my strategy in a whole new light. So I took a look around at what I actually have to work with in my bathroom, and I started to measure everything. I have this great built-in dresser with tons of space to work with. I have a small cabinet over my toilet, which honestly, I didn't even think I'd be able to fit towels in, so I didn't have a lot of hope for it. I have a little bit of storage underneath my sink cabinet, and then I also have this big medicine cabinet with tons of space inside of it. I took the time to measure every drawer and cabinet and shelf that I had to work with. This is the key to maximizing the functionality in a small space. Always know exactly what you have to work with. That's gonna save you time so you're not returning something that doesn't even fit the space. When I discovered these bins at Target and realized that I could stack these in each one of my drawers, the wheels began to turn. I knew that I was onto a good idea. So I came straight home and came up with a system where I'm either folding or rolling all of my clothing. What the system lets me do is look in and see everything that I have to choose from at first glance. No more digging and messing up the whole pile. This system was a game changer. Keep in mind that I've lived in this space for 3.5 years now, and I've bought more clothes since I've lived here and inevitably have outgrown the system. The only way for this system to work is to constantly edit and constantly go through, make myself get rid of anything that I am not wearing. The fewer things that you have to organize, the better your system is gonna work. My next great find was a set of 4 of these little bins that I ran across at Marshall's. Initially, I really didn't think that they were gonna fit anywhere in here, here. I was super excited when I realized I could fit 4 of these in this little cabinet over my toilet and still have room for a couple of towels and wash rags. Each one of these bins is 5.5 inches deep, so I was super excited to see how much of my stuff I could actually divvy up into these, and it really just transformed this space and made it 10 times more functional than I even thought it could be. So again, measure everything. And I did take the time to put labels on each one of these. As long as everything has a designated space and it's super easy to access and put away, that's all that matters for me. Now that all of my makeup is in this one bin, I can easily take it out in the morning and easily put the whole bin back in. And this bin is not always going to look this organized, and that's okay. Sometimes I have just enough time to chunk everything back in here and shove it in the cabinet. And that's totally fine with me if the things in the bin are messed up. The point is they have a home and it's easy to manage. I did the same thing with my nail supplies. I fit all of my polishes in here, and if you're like me and you wash out and keep jelly jars and they're taking over your cabinet, this is a great way to use them. I use one of them just to separately keep my files and clips and whatnot into a space where they're easy to find. I recently added this UV light, and I have to say, I was beyond excited when I realized it would fit right into my bin. If it didn't, I honestly probably would have returned it by now. As you can see, when it's all in there, it's just a contained mess, but it works. For my medicine, I use one bin for my over-the-counter prescription meds, and then another one is for non-medicine things like my neti pot. The number one thing you can do to organize medicine is take it out of the package. It's amazing how much space this stuff takes up. Once you get it home, take out the contents, and if you need to, just make a label reminding yourself what it is and when it expires. This takes up so much less room than an entire box. So there's that. If you're in a small space, it's always important to work with your vertical space. I've been looking for clear containers for cotton balls and Q-tips and Band-Aids, and I was so excited when I ran across these at HomeGoods. Not only are they super cute on the other side, they also fit perfectly in the space above this cabinet, and they hide a sleeve of some cotton pads that I have up there and my spare toothpaste. So it's a win-win. I love storage. I also needed a place where I could keep a few cleaning supplies and feminine hygiene products in reach of the toilet. When I found this little shelf at HomeGoods, I knew it would be perfect in this space. So now I have a dedicated space for cleaning supplies, feminine hygiene items. I also have space for the roll of trash bags that I use in the composting toilet. And as a bonus, I have an extra shelf just for things I use in my bath. I'm not a huge fan of this visual clutter, but I feel like my shower curtain does a great job of hiding it, and it's really nice to have those things in reach. So this is my exception to my rule of no visual clutter. Moving on to my sink cabinet. This is pretty simple. I really only needed space down here for my laundry detergent and just a little bin that I could keep things like my curling iron and flat iron and hair dryer in. I specifically wanted a bin down here so that if there ever was a leak or I needed to get to anything under my sink, I could easily just take the whole bin out. Throwing things in the bin worked fine, but I kind of got tired of having to like dig through. So I found this great organizer. It has like 4 different compartments within it, and it just makes it a lot easier to access my curling irons, my brushes, and a comb. This really makes that bin so much more efficient, and I still have space in there for my blow dryer and my travel blow dryer, of course. And this time of year, I love finding super cute planters that I can use for other things. I use this one for all of my giant rollers that take up so much space. I knew when I found this one, I was going to find a spot for it in my bathroom. It turns out to be the perfect place to store my hair clips. Now they're easy to access and super cute. And finally, I have this large mirrored medicine cabinet, which I love because the mirror reflects so much light into this small space and it holds a ton of stuff. In my medicine cabinet, I obviously don't have space for bins and baskets. If you're familiar with the book Atomic Habits, he talks about habit stacking. I am notorious for completely forgetting to take my asthma one allergy medication until I get all the way up to the loft. So I made a space and paired them next to the night cream and the morning, my SPF lotions that I use, so that I'm reminded when I use those things I need to take my medication. Having them together helps to reinforce that habit. I also keep my CBD oil next to my facial oil and my gua sha tool because those are often part of my nighttime routine. And last but not least, I keep my facial cleansers and toners right next to my toothbrush because I do those things at about the same time every morning and every night. I feel like these jelly jars are really telling the story of how many PB&Js I've eaten in the last couple of years to survive my unpredictable life. But these jelly jars, if you are hanging on to these things like I do, and then you're like, why am I keeping all of these? They are perfect to organize things inside medicine cabinets. And look at how I can also fit my teeth whitening strips and my Biore strips in here because without the packaging, they take up hardly any space. And one last thing, consider this my public service announcement. If you have an electric toothbrush, nobody wants to see your gross toothbrush and all of the water and toothpaste and germs that are building up on this base right by your sink. This does not need to be charging 24 hours a day. It is spreading germs and it is an eyesore. Do yourself a favor, hide your charge base in a cabinet or a drawer and take it out one night a week and let your toothbrush charge overnight. That is all you need to keep this thing going for a week or more. Making this one change is going to take away some clutter, prevent some germs from spreading, and it keeps the rest of us from having to see the eyesore that it is. That's all. That's a wrap on my tiny house bathroom organization. As you can see, with the right system, you can do a lot in a tiny space. As always, I would love to know what you thought about this episode, so please take a second, head down and leave any comments or questions that you have. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.